Oh, hi.
Good morning. Thank you all for being with us. We're just going to give folks a moment to enter from the waiting room and connect to audio. And as a reminder, as you are entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are speaking or presenting before the board. We have just another moment to clear the waiting room, and then we'll get started. Good morning. This is a hearing before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Wednesday, August 16th, 2023. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman of the Board, Kathleen Joyce.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Boston Licensing Board. Thank you for joining us today. I am also joined today by Commissioner Kiana Saxon and Commissioner Liam Curran.
Thank you. And once again, as a reminder, please do remain on mute unless or until you are appearing or presenting before the board. Please ensure that your audio and visuals are working properly. I will call each item in the order it appears on the agenda. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the applicant. You will make a brief presentation regarding your proposal, followed by questions by the chair and commissioners. Following questions, there will be an opportunity for testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives. Please limit your testimony to 2 minutes, and please state your name, address, and affiliation, if any. We'll begin with the first item on this morning's agenda, calling item number 1, Erdem LLC, doing business as Alibaba, located at 99A Cambridge Street in Charlestown. Holder of a common victualler license has petitioned to change the closing hour of the licensed business from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
My name is Daniel Surian, S-U-R-I-A-N. I am the manager of Alibaba, located at 99A Cambridge Street in Charlestown. And we are here to present our application for the extension of the hours from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We have done the community process. We had to handle different amounts of concerns with the neighbors. We believe that we have done everything to satisfaction of all the parties, and we hope to be able to obtain this extension, as it is crucial to our business that we have nowadays.
Thank you for that, Mr. Surian. We'll turn over to the board to see if there are any questions regarding your proposal. Chairman Joyce, any questions?
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. How long have you been open at this location with the 11 p.m. closing?
We have been, we're going on to our third year.
Third year? Okay.
Yes, soon to be.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Commissioners?
No questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Madam Chair, members of the board, Sean Breen with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. And a butters meeting was held on April 5th for Alibaba extending their hours. It was well attended. Residents' largest concerns were with pest control and maintaining the shared parking lot with Dunkin' Donuts. Alibaba worked with the residents to address many of the concerns. Since then, this office has received 17 letters of support, none in opposition, along with 27 signatures in support gathered by the applicant. With that, that's it. Sorry.
Thank you, Sean. Are there any other?
Oh,
Oh, sorry, Sean, I just muted you. Was there more you wanted to add? Thank you. Are there any other individuals?
Nope, just defer in judgment. Sorry about that.
Great. Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 2, Cilantro Latin Kitchen LLC, doing business as Cilantro Latin Kitchen, located at 1415 Tremont Street in Mission Hill. Has applied for a common victualler license to be exercised on the above. The premise is 1415 Tremont Street, also known as 1 Gurney Street. First, the 1,800 square feet on the first floor, 1 room, 1 bathroom, 1 small office, kitchen in the back with storage. Manager Hector Pina. Hours of operation 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Hector Piña and Nivia Piña.
Thank you very much, Mr. and Ms. Pina. If you could please briefly present your proposal to the board.
Well, we're being restaurateurs in Boston for almost 30 years. We also own Merengue restaurant on Blue Hill Avenue. We own Vejigantes in the South End, and we also own Doña Havana at the Hampton Inn Hotel. And this is a fast casual restaurant with featuring Latin food on the healthy side. I think that is well needed in the community. I think the minority communities are facing a lot of high blood pressure, cholesterol, obesity, and diabetes is mostly due to the eating habits. So our idea is to bring healthy food to the neighborhood and also teach people how to eat the correct proportions of proteins, carbs, and vegetables. So we're really excited, and we're here, to for the petition.
Thank you very much. Chair Woodruff, do you have any questions?
Thank you for joining us today. I don't have any questions at this time.
No questions for me.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is Maggie Van Scoy from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Our office is unaware of any concerns with the application at this time, and we defer to the judgment of the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 3, Mia's Bakery Seaport LLC, doing business as Mia's Bakery, located at 131 Seaport Boulevard. Has applied for a common victualler license to be exercised on the above. Small bakery cafe consisting of service counter, seating area, back workroom, and public restroom. Manager Aristotelis Spiropoulos. Hours of operation 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Daniel Brennan here with DPB Design, permit consultant for Mia's Bakery. Good morning, Chairwoman, members of the board. Here today for a small bakery cafe, just over 1,000 square feet, going in over at the Seaport. First generation tenant on the ground level. Proposed hours are 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and then slightly reduced 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. We completed the community process with no issues, and we hope to open mid-September.
Thank you. How many seats at this location?
11 seats interior.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you. Commissioners?
No questions for me. Thank you.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office like to defer to the judgment of this board. As you heard from the applicant, they went through an ONS-led community process, so we're unaware of any concerns at this time. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Official, members of the board. Ana Calderon from Council President Flink's office. The councilor would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 4, Worcester Tremont LLC, located at 45 Worcester Street in Roxbury, has applied for a lodging house license to be exercised on the above, a 4-story building with 10 rooms total, and a total number of residents would be 20. 2 rooms in the basement, 2 rooms on the first floor, 2 rooms on the second floor, 2 rooms on the third floor, and 2 rooms on the fourth floor. Manager Barry Samuels, who is present on behalf of the applicant.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Attorney Jeff Drago with Drago and Toscano and the business address of 11 Beacon Street, here on behalf of Worcester Tremont LLC and Mr. Samuels, who's the owner. Just by way of background, this particular building had been operating as a lodging house since 1928. It is zoned and has a certificate of occupancy for a lodging house, which I did provide in the packets to the board. Mr. Samuels purchased it a little over a year ago, and unbeknownst to him, it was never licensed for lodging house. So we started, once he found out that it was not licensed, we started the process before the board to get the building licensed. Right now, these are 10 existing units inside, ranging in sizes from 275 square feet to 550 square feet. There is a 24-hour service, 1-800 number for any issues on site. The patrons of the establishment range from, because of its close proximity to the medical buildings, to patients, medical staff, traveling nurses, business professionals, and marathon runners during race time. The units he does have a full-time person that manages the property of the building, snow removal, maintenance issues, repair, cleaning, as folks and patrons leave. He also has someone that is on call during the daytime hours, located at 677 Tremont. They do operate another facility that is a licensed lodging house at 677 Tremont Street as well. We have security cameras around the property. It is all remote button entry to the rooms as well as to the building itself. There is a laundry room on facility. Each unit has living space with kitchenette, full bathroom, and living area, as well as bedroom, which makes it convenient for those folks staying for a longer period of time. The average stay is over 3 nights. There are folks that stay 1 night, and there are folks that'll stay up until 30 days. I can pause for any questions that the board may have, and thank you.
So far, you've answered every question I've had. If you would like to continue, please do so. Or if there's no more.
Yeah, and just in terms of community process, Madam Chair, we did have a public meeting held by the mayor's office. It went great. We got nothing but positive feedback of the lodging house throughout its inception in the time period. So, and at that, that would conclude our presentation.
Thank you, Attorney. I don't have any other questions. Commissioner Saxon, Commissioner Curran, do you?
I do not. Thank you.
None from me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. As you heard from the applicant's representation, ONS held an abutters meeting earlier this month. We received positive feedback from the abutters that were present at that meeting. We're unaware of any concerns at this time. We'd like to defer to the judgment of this board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement.
Thank you very much.
Calling item number 5, Xander Realty Group, located at 4 Glenway Street in Dorchester, has applied for a lodging house license to be exercised on the above, a 3-story building, 14 residents, 5 rooms on the first floor, 6 rooms on the second floor, 5 rooms on the third floor. Manager Jaleel Cyrus, who is present on behalf of the applicant.
Yes, hi, good morning. So my name is Stefan Bourdois. I'm the owner of the building. So Jaleel, I think, is on the call as well. He's the property manager who manages day to day. So yeah, so we're here to apply for the lodging house license. So similar to the previous applicant, you know, when I bought the building, I didn't know that it wasn't properly licensed. So we've been going through the process of getting the licensing. It's been delayed a little bit because of COVID. So we started this whole process several years ago. So we had the abutters hearing and we have letters of support from the neighbor, et cetera. So since we've taken over the building, Jaleel has done a really good job of like, stabilizing the building, getting the bad elements out. And so we try to make sure that, the building is a safe place for the tenants. So we don't do any short-term rentals. So we're not doing any dailies or weeklies, whatever. So it's all at will monthly leases for the residents, and probably the average stay of all our tenants has been 1+ year so far. We have several people that have been there for years now, so we don't have like a high turnover kind of thing. So I think, so currently there's 14 residents. The rooming house, or the building itself, it's a triple decker, like a standard triple decker that you see in Dorchester, right? 3 floors. There's 16 rooms total. There's a full kitchen and bathroom on every floor. There's laundry in the basement for the residents. Coin laundry. Did somebody have something to say?
Apologies, that was just someone unmuting.
Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, so entry to the building is controlled, like front and rear entrance is, there's a key on the front. We used to have a combination lock, but it kept breaking. So all the residents have a key for the front door. The rear entry has a keypad lock. Each individual unit on each floor has its own combination keypad lock to get into the unit. And then every room has its own combination lock as well. So all the tenants have, their own locks with their own combination on their rooms. I think that, and we also have 24-hour fire alarm monitoring by American Alarm. And I think that's all I have. Are there any questions?
Yes, can you explain to me how it's managed again? I missed it at the beginning. Is it someone who lives on site, or is it professionally managed off-site?
It's professionally managed off-site, but they're close by, and they're like, I mean, if you want to speak to Jaleel, he's on the call as well. He can chime in, but he visits the building regularly, several times a week, make sure everything's taken care of. And
do you have a minimum stay for your tenants?
I would say like 1 month. we do monthly at will leases. So we try to get tenants in that want to stay long term, right? We're not trying to have like short term rentals. So in general, people that move in, they stay 6 months plus.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out, because it's different than the previous application that was talking about 1 night stays. Okay, so it's a 3-family you've converted to a lodging house.
Yeah, well, we haven't converted it. It's actually been, it was rezoned back in the 90s, I think. So it's been operating as a rooming house for 30+ years at this point.
Okay.
But the previous owner, right, he did not follow the rules, as far as like alarm monitoring and certificate of occupancy and all that sort of thing. Well, actually, that reminds me. So I guess the one thing missing from our application is the current certificate of occupancy. So we've been working with the city. It's been over a year and a half now, going back and forth, fixing issues here and there. But COVID has kind of really delayed getting the inspector into our building on a kind of regular basis. So we're just now trying to get it all wrapped up. So we hope to get that done like this week or next week.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any questions at this time. Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
No questions for me. Thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office likes to defer to the judgment of this board. Previously, I understand this applicant went through a community process with liaisons prior. They've been working with neighbors to address concerns that have been raised, and they've also been working with the city, as the applicant mentioned, to make sure that the building is acceptable. So we're unaware of any other concerns outside of that realm there. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 6, Angela's Psychic Readings, located at 205 Portland Street, has applied for a fortune teller license to be exercised on the above. One room with 600 square feet with retail area, bathroom, and storage in rear. Manager Nikki Mitchell, hours of operation 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant? Oh, Ms. Mitchell, I do see you. If you could just identify yourself for the board, please.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know if like the mute was still on. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
you're all good.
Yes.
We can hear you.
My name is Nikki Mitchell. I am the owner of Angela's Psychic Readings, located at 205 Portland Street in Boston, Massachusetts.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. If you could please just briefly present your concept to the board.
Okay. So Angela's Psychic Readings, I am applying for a fortune telling license. I do sell crystals, candles, incense, oils, various, pieces of jewelry, different, gift boxes with candles and crystals that people can come in and customize themselves. For, the psychic readings portion of my business, I do specialize in doing tarot card readings, palm readings, psychic readings, as well as energy healings as well. Energy healings are, basically just one-on-one meditation sessions, just to bring, some peace of mind, body, and spirit to the community. That's my goal, and to just spread positivity.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mitchell. Let's see if the board has any questions for you. Chairwoman Joyce, any questions?
Thank you for joining us today, Ms. Mitchell. We don't get many of these applications. At this point, I don't have any questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon, do you?
No questions for me. Thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office likes to defer to the judgment of this board. Can confirm that this applicant was connected with ONS, and we hosted an abutters meeting on July 13th. The applicant also reached out to the West End Civic Association and Downtown North. We're unaware of any concerns at this time. We'd like to defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Connor. I do see a hand raised from Jay Walsh. Mr. Walsh, you may please provide your testimony.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jay Walsh on behalf of the Downtown North Association. We did have the opportunity to meet with Nikki on 2 occasions, most recently yesterday, and there's no objections to her operation. I think there was just some concern as the sole proprietor managing the retail aspect and the psychic readings things, that if she were to perform those services, that there would just be some sort of appointment process that she goes through, and that way folks that were coming for the retail aspect would be aware that she was in a reading session, so to speak. So we just ask that, that type of communication be made via signage or some other way to help manage the retail and the reading aspect of the business. But otherwise, no objections. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Anything further from the board? Board will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 7, Somerset Club, located at 41 Beacon Street. Holder of a club all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from a Dennis Michelle to Michael Shannon. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Michael Shannon here, the executive chef of the Somerset Club.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Shannon, for being with us. Chairman Joyce, if you want to go through the manager of record questions, Mr. Shannon. Oh, you're on mute right now.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you for joining us today. I'm just going to go through the manager of record questions. Are you a citizen?
Yes,
Are you a resident of the Commonwealth?
I am.
And where do you live?
Newton, Massachusetts.
Okay. Do you have experience in the food and beverage industry?
Yes, I've been the executive chef here of the club for the past 6 years, and in total, I have 12 years of experience in the field.
Okay. Are you familiar with the rules and regulations of this board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth pertaining to the sale and service of alcohol?
I am.
Okay. I don't have any other questions at this time. Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon, do you?
No questions for me. Thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 8, Colon Management, Inc., doing business as Residence Inn by Marriott, South End of Boston, located at 2001 Washington Street in Roxbury. Holder of an inn holder, neighborhood restricted all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Gael Shungu to Megan Murphy. Attorney John Aida. Attorney Aida.
Good morning. Thank you, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, members of the board, John Aida, McDermott Quilton Miller, 28 State Street in Boston, on behalf of the licensee. Joining me this morning is Megan Murphy. Megan's the proposed manager of record. She has over 10 years experience in the hospitality industry, most recently as a hotel manager. She also started as bartending and so has experience both in a working and supervisory role. She is a United States citizen, resident of Massachusetts, and she is familiar with the rules and regulations of the board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth as it pertains to sale and service of alcohol. If you have any questions for myself or Megan, we'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Attorney Aida, and thank you for joining us today, Ms. Murphy. I don't have any other questions or any questions at this time. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon, do you?
No questions for me. Thank you.
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 9, Colon Management, Inc., doing business as AC Hotel by Marriott Cleveland Circle, located at 395 Chestnut Hill Ave in Brighton. Holder of an inn holder all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Christopher Martin to Peter Marks. Attorney Aida once again.
Thank you, Attorney Green. Again, Madam Chair, members of the board, John Aida, McDermott Quilton Miller, on behalf of the licensee. Joining me is Peter Marks. Peter Marks is the general manager of the hotel. He has over 30 years experience. He has also recently been approved at the Springfield Marriott as a manager of record, so he's been vetted by the ABCC. He is a United States citizen, a Massachusetts resident, and he is familiar with the rules and regulations of the board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth as it pertains to sale and service of alcohol. I think I can see Peter there. Yep. So if you have any questions for myself or Peter, we'd be happy to answer.
Thank you again, Attorney. I see Mr. Marks there. I don't have any other questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
No questions for me. Thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Calling item number 10, BAM Hospitality LLC, doing business as the Fenway Marriott Residence Inn, located at 125 Brookline Ave. Holder of an inn holder all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Corey Hayes to Vincent Donato Sassone, who is present on behalf of the applicant.
Hi, this is Vincent Sassone. Yep, and I'm just calling to change the manager that is listed to myself. I am a U.S. citizen. I am a resident of the Commonwealth. I do understand the regulations of the ABCC. I do have 15 years of experience in the hospitality industry. And in the past 5 years, I have been the manager held for 4 different licenses.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Sassone. What is that experience? Which licensees have you worked for in the last 15 years?
So the licenses that I had in the past 5 years, the AC Hotel Boston Cleveland Circle, the AC Hotel Boston Ink Block, the Medford AC Hotel, and the Medford Fairfield Inn and Town Place Suites.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions. Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon?
No questions for me. Thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Calling item number 11, Capital Burger Holdings LLC, doing business as the Capital Burger, located at 157 to 159 Newbury Street. Holder of a common victualler 7-day all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Adam Christian to Cassidy Welch, who is present on behalf of the applicant.
I am Cassidy Welch, manager of the Capital Burger.
Thank you for being with us, Ms. Welch. Chairman Joyce, if you have any questions for Ms. Welch.
Sure. Thank you for joining us today, Ms. Welch. So you're currently the manager there?
I am, yes.
Okay. Are you a citizen?
Yes.
Are you a resident of Massachusetts?
I am, yes.
And how many years' experience do you have in the food and beverage industry?
5 years.
Are you familiar with the rules and regulations of our board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth pertaining to the sale and service of alcohol?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. No further questions for me. Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
I do not, thank you.
No questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Items 12 and 13, Emerson College, doing business as Emerson College, located at 219 Tremont Street and 543 to 561 Washington Street. Holder of 2 licenses, 1 general on-premise wines and malt beverages license with liqueurs, and 1 general on-premise all alcoholic beverages license. Has petitioned for a change of officers, directors, LLC managers, and secondly, has petitioned to change the manager of the 2 licensed businesses from David Dower to David House. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
I'm here, David House, Vice President of Office of the Arts, and I'm here with Mary Higgins and Margaret Ings from the Office of Community Relations and Governmental Affairs.
Thank you all for being with us. If you could please briefly present the proposed changes to the board.
So as I mentioned, I'm David House, Vice President, Office of the Arts, and we're here for change of manager for our 2 locations, the Cutler Majestic Theater, as well as the Paramount Center. The shift comes due to a shift in personnel. David Dower was the Vice President of the Office of the Arts. I succeeded him a year and a half ago or so, and we've been working to make this shift happen. So we're here today before the board to answer any questions you might have about that shift.
Thank you, and thank you all for joining us today. Mr. House, are you a citizen?
I am.
Are you a resident of Massachusetts?
Yes, I am.
And where do you live?
I live in Milton.
Okay. Do you have experience in the food and beverage industry?
Yes, tangentially for the last 15 years, I've hosted many large-scale events that involve both catering services, food services, and vendors, as well as relationships with alcohol vendors. And in my role, worked very closely with my predecessor, David Dower, on the management of our various venues here on the campus.
Okay, and my last question is, are you familiar with the rules and regulations of our board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth pertaining to the sale and service of alcohol?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I guess I do have one more question. Other than the change, are there any operational changes other than you becoming the manager of record?
No other operational changes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
I do not, thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on these 2 matters, beginning with elected officials or their representatives? Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on these matters? Board will take these under advisement. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling items 14, 15, and 16, Massachusetts Sports Service, Inc., doing business as TD Garden, as Legends, and as Jack's Abbey Track Zero Tap Room, located at 100 Legends Way. Holder of 3 common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages licenses, has petitioned for a change of officers, directors, LLC managers of the corporation. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Good morning, Danny, Chairwoman Joyce, Commissioners Tom Miller from McDermott, Quilty and Miller in Boston on behalf of the licensee. As Danny said, we're here to change corporate officers for the 3 licenses held by Massachusetts Sports Serve. This is at the corporate level only. Former treasurer and vice president of finance has left. He's being replaced by Osbel Gordon. There are no other changes to the corporate structure, and there are no changes to the day-to-day operations. We want to thank you for hearing these applications today, and we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Attorney Miller. I don't have any questions. Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon?
No questions for me, thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on these matters? Board will take these under advisement. Thank you. Calling item 17, Umbria North End, Inc., doing business as Umbria, located at 250 Hanover Street. Holder of a common victular all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to pledge the license to Eagle Bank. Attorney Marshall Newman. Attorney Newman.
Good morning, Marshall Newman, Newman and Newman, PC on behalf of the licensee. This is a commercial transaction with Eagle Bank. The licensee used a line of credit to acquire the property back a few months ago and then obtain financing from Eagle Bank. And as part of the financing, requires a pledge of the license.
Thank you, Attorney Newman, for joining us and for that explanation. I have no questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
No questions. Thank you.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item 18, Trinity Stewart Concessions LLC, doing business as the Raffles Hotel located at 40 Trinity Place. Holder of an in-holder all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned for the approval of a management agreement between Trinity Stewart Concession LLC and Row Management US Inc. Attorney Andrew Upton. Attorney Upton.
Good morning, everyone. Andrew Upton from Upton, Connell and Devlin, representing the licensee, who is the owner of the hotel. As the board may recall, this hotel was granted a license at the beginning of the year, and a manager was approved. At this time, they want to enter into a management agreement with Row Management, which is the owner of the Raffles brand, and Row Management will run the F&B at the hotel. They will run all of the F&B at the hotel, food and beverage, with the exception of one single restaurant, which will be owned and run by a Boston-based chef. And we intend to file an amendment to the management agreement when that deal goes through. But for now, in anticipation of a September opening, this is the company that will actually run the hotel as the Raffles brand, as they do for this international luxury hotel across the world. The manager will stay the same and the ownership of the license will stay the same. And we're glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Attorney Upton. I don't have any questions at this time. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
No questions for me. Thank you.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Calling item number 19, K Oasis Enterprises, Inc., doing business as K's Oasis, located at 1117 to 1125 Blue Hill Ave in Dorchester. Holder of a common victual or 7-day all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to provide bottle service on their licensed premise. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Moshour Motamed. I'm the assistant manager of K's Oasis with Ms. Kay Chambers, the owner and the manager right here. I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
You can please briefly present your proposal to the board.
Yes, I was made aware of the new regulations for auto service, filled out the application and sent in the application along with a floor plan and photos of our sections where we serve the bottle service on nights where there's anybody who would like to be served. I just want to explain a little bit. There are technically 4 sofa sections, and there are some high table sections that we have optional. We have 4 waitresses allocated to man those sections. No customer ever gets to control their own bottle. We pour it for them. We monitor who is looks like they've had too much to drink. No one's allowed to take their bottle home at the end of the night. It's always going to be behind the bar until they're ready for another filling of their glass. We have security who also watches those sections. The room itself has, it's not that big a room, so it's easy to see everyone, and anybody who would like to get bottle service has to be registered through a system that we have, issue them a VIP pass. So an individual who is in the bottle service.
Great. Thank you very much. Anything further? Okay, we'll move to questions from the board. Chairman Joyce, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I just want to confirm that, and I know you stated this, but just confirming again, that at the sofa sections, the patrons will never be in full control of the bottle. There'll be a waitress at all times.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Your audio is lagging a little bit. I'm going to turn off your video to see if that helps. So hang on one second. All right.
All right. Is that better?
That is actually much better.
And is this going to be for special occasions, or will you be having bottle service every weekend?
It's only available on the weekends that are rented out to different events, and we don't. Even though we're going to be open other nights, it's only available on Fridays, Saturdays, and when Sunday is a long weekend where Monday is a holiday.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions, Commissioner.
And it doesn't always. Okay. Sorry.
Thank you. No, thank you. I don't have any questions. Commissioners, do you?
None for me, thank you.
None from me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office likes to defer to the judgment of this board. Presently, our office is unaware of any concerns, and as I understand it, the applicant works extensively with the community and is very forthcoming. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 20, La Flaca y El Gordo Inc., doing business as Pica, located at 280 to 306 Washington Street in Brighton. Holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to amend the closing hour of the licensed business from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Liliana Murphy. I'm the manager of Pica Restaurant, and next to me is the owner, Katiuska Valiente. Pica Restaurant is a Latin American restaurant located at 304 Washington Street, Brighton, Massachusetts. So we've been in business for 2 years and 11 months, and we're looking to extend our business hours from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. We're looking for ways to improve sales, generate more employment, and to maintain our business. So we wanted to thank you for your time and for this opportunity, and we're happy to answer any additional questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'll defer questions until public comment. I have no questions though right now.
Same for me.
No questions.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Frank Mendoza here, Mayor's Liaison for Allston Brighton in the Office of Neighborhood Services. Here to testify that while we will be deferring to the judgment of the board on this matter, we did have the applicant have an abutters meeting and also reach out to the Civic Association. They were able to answer and address the concerns and questions raised at the abutters meeting, and the Civic Association, being the Brighton Allston Improvement Association, voted in support of the applicant's proposal. The Brighton Allston Improvements Association zoning chair, Annabella Gomes, I believe may be on to testify after myself on this matter. With that said, we'd like to defer to the judgment of the board on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Great. Any further questions from the board?
Danny, just for clarification purposes, I wanted to ask the licensee, what time will the kitchen be closing? Will it stay open till 2 o'clock as well, or?
1. The kitchen will be closing at 1 a.m. We just wanted to offer a late menu as well.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Curran. Commissioner Saxon, anything further? With that, the board will take this matter under advisement as well. Thank you. Calling item number 21, Our Father's Deli LLC, doing business as Our Father's Deli, located at 1301 Boylston Street. Holder of a common victular 7-day wines and malt beverages license has petitioned to change the classification of its license to a wines, malt beverages, and liqueurs license pursuant to the authority contained in Chapter 481 of the Acts of 1994. Attorney Dennis Quilty. Attorney Quilty.
Good morning, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, members of the board. Dennis Quilty, attorney representing the licensee. With us this morning is David Dubois, who's the owner operator of Our Father's Deli. We are before you today requesting a change to the license to allow the sale of cordials in addition to the malt and wine beverages currently allowed. Mr. Dubois is a well-known, highly respected operator in the city of Boston, owning and operating the original Our Father's Deli in Brighton until a year or so ago. This location of the new Our Father's Deli and multiple outlets of Tasty Burger, as well as the Citizen Public House in the Fenway. Been around the business, knows the business inside and out, knows this neighborhood. In fact, this location is where he was quite nearby where his new Tasty Burger is and where an old Tasty Burger was. So quite familiar with the area. We reached out to the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services and were suggested that as an existing business, they would not require an abutters meeting, asked us to reach out to the Fenway Civic, which we did. And we are happy to answer any of your questions here this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney Quilty. Thank you for joining us today. I don't have any questions at this time. Commissioners?
No questions from me. Thank you.
None from me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, hello again, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is Maggie Van Scoy from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, our office would like to defer the judgment of the board. We did have this applicant flyer just to notify abutters within 300 feet, but again, we did not require a community meeting for this application. This applicant was also in touch with the Fenway Civic Association, and while that organization asked the applicant to only serve alcohol with food, we are unaware of any concerns that they had with adding cordials to their license. With that, again, we defer to the judgment of the board. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is Jacob Warner, chiming in on behalf of Boston City Councilor Sharon Durkin. Councilor Durkin is the District City 8 Councilor and wants to go on the record in support of this request.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 22, Brothers Super Liquors 2, Inc., located at 368 Warren Street in Roxbury. Holder of a retail all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to change the DBA of the licensed business to Brothers Wine and Spirits. Secondly, has petitioned for a change in Officers Directors LLC manager. Thirdly, has petitioned for a change in stock interest. And lastly, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from German Fernandez to Victor Fernandez. Attorney Jen Allen. Attorney Allen.
Thank you, Attorney Green. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. Jennifer Allen, representing Brothers Super Liquors 2. With us also, Victor Fernandez is logged in as well for any questions. This is a simple interfamilial transfer for no consideration, in which Herman Fernandez, who was the owner and manager, is transferring all of his interest to his brother, Victor Fernandez, for estate planning purposes. This transfer will result in changing all of the officers of the corporation from Herman to Victor, meaning president, treasurer, secretary, and director. Victor will also become the new manager and 100% stockholder. Herman has experienced some major health issues in the past few years, which has spurred these changes. Victor has been in the liquor industry for almost 2 decades now. He has been working at this store for over 15 years. He's well qualified, has plenty of experience. He is familiar with the rules of the ABCC and the City of Boston Licensing Board, and is also tip certified. He's a U.S. citizen, a Massachusetts resident, and of good character. Lastly, we're also requesting to change the DBA from Brothers Super Liquors 2 to Brothers Wine and Spirits. There's no other changes to this license, to the store, or how it's going to be run. They're just keeping it in the family and passing it from one generation to the other. And as you can see, they have no violations, and I know the community support for the family is very strong as well. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer any.
Thank you, Attorney Allen, for your explanation. I don't have any questions at this time. Commissioners, do you?
I do not. Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives? Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item 23, 39 Dalton License LLC, doing business as Sheraton located at 39 Dalton Street. Holder of an in-holder all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to amend the description of the licensed business from in whole of said building, including exhibition area on basement level, to in whole of said building, 750,100 square feet, with 28 floors and guest rooms, including North Tower, exhibition area on basement level, pool deck, function rooms and ballrooms, restaurant with 225 seats, and lobby bar with 180 seats and lounge space. ISD certificates of inspection on file with the licensing board, also have a more complete description of capacities. Attorney Dennis Quilty. Attorney Quilty.
Good morning again, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, members of the board. It might it might cause your day to go a little quicker to call the next one together with this. They're totally related if that's of
They are
interest.
paired. That does make sense. Sure. So we can consider these two together as they are really one transaction. So also item 24, Belvedere Street Owner LLC, located at 39 Dalton Street, has applied for an in-holder license to be exercised on the above in whole of South Tower, located at 39 Dalton Street, comprised of 247,900 square feet on floors 1, 3, and 5 through 29 for lodging of guests. Manager Edward Donovan. Attorney Quilty, you may proceed.
Thank you again, Attorney Green. Again, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dennis Quilty representing the applicant, the licensee in number 23 and the applicant in number 24. They are completely related. This is the Sheraton Boston Hotel and Towers, which is comprised of today of 2 towers, the North and the South Towers. The proposal is related to an application presently before the BPDA for Northeastern University to operate a dorm facility in the South Tower, which they are presently doing. This was done through COVID. That would require the removal of the liquor license from that tower. So the application in number 24 is to replace the existing in-holder all alc license in the South Tower with an in-holder no alc license. And in number 23, it is to delete the South Tower from the alcoholic beverages in-holder license. So in the one instance, we delete the South Tower, leaving the North Tower to be the hotel innkeeper with alcohol. And the second application is to allow the South Tower to then exist as an in-holder without alcohol. We have done a great deal of community outreach, even though the BPDA process is not complete. We are working very closely and carefully with the BPDA and expect that to be finalized in the coming months. And again, we've met, by my count, 3 times with NABB. I know they've sent an email to the board that they are not opposing these apps. We've met with the Back Bay Association, and I want to congratulate Mr. Warner and his Councilor Durkin, who was just sworn in yesterday, I believe. So most of our outreach with the council was done under her predecessor, Ms. Bach. But we've done substantial outreach and find that the community thus far has been very supportive of this process. So it's a long way of saying we're removing the alcohol from one tower, keeping it in the first tower, and that hotel tower will operate as a hotel and eventually will be completely redone and become hopefully one of the finest hotels in the city. So that's our application. Mr. Donovan is with us. He is an approved manager, but he is here today in the event you had any questions. And there are no other changes to the North Tower, which will continue to operate as the hotel. So thank you very much, and we're happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Attorney Quilty, and thank you, Mr. Donovan, for joining us. I don't have any questions at this time.
No questions for me. Thank you.
None from me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, hello again, Madam Chair, members of the board, Maggie Van Scoy from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, our office would like to defer the judgment of the board. As mentioned by Attorney Quilty, the applicant has been in touch with the Neighborhood Association of Back Bay, who issued a letter of non-opposition, and we are unaware of any concerns at this time. Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
Maggie.
morning. Sorry, Daniel.
No,
Good
go ahead.
morning, Madam of the Chair, members of the board, Ana Calderon from Council President Flynn's office. The councilor would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, if I may just apologize to Anna Calderon and Councilor Flynn, this is one of those quirky district that is actually within Councilor Flynn's area, and we did discuss the application with Councilor Flynn in his office. Sorry about that, Anna.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on these two matters? Seeing none, the board will take these under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item 25, Keen Kruta LLC, doing business as Brassica Kitchen and Cafe, located at 3710A Washington Street in Jamaica Plain. Holder of a common victular 7-day neighborhood restricted all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to amend the description of the licensed premise from a 1-story building with licensed premise on the first floor, consisting of 1 entrance, 2 exits, 2 restrooms, 1,307 square feet, and storage with office and basement with outdoor enclosed seasonal patio, April to November on private property, 200 square feet for 23 people, hours of operation indoor and outdoors, Tuesday to Sunday, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. and Saturday, Sunday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 2, a 1-story building with licensed premise consisting of approximately 4,460 square feet with seating for 126 indoors, along with 4 dining areas, 2 bars, kitchen, storage, and restrooms, 2 seasonal patio areas on private property with seating for 25 on patio A and 18 on patio B. Patio closing hour 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday. 2 means of ingress and 6 means of egress. Attorney Adam Barnoski. Attorney Barnoski.
Thank you, Attorney Green. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Adam Barnoski, 255 State Street in Boston, here on behalf of the licensee. With me is Phil Kruta, the co-owner and manager of record, along with Jeremy Keene and Rebecca Keene from Brassica Kitchen. The restaurant is located on Washington Street in JP, across from the Forest Hills Tea Station. The restaurant's been in business for approximately 9 years. It's a staple of the neighborhood in the city. We are here today on an alteration of premises to expand the restaurant into an adjoining commercial space, which will result in approximately 4,460 square foot of restaurant, which will be operated as Brassica Kitchen. There is seating for 126, 4 dining areas, 2 bars, kitchen, storage, and restrooms, as well as 2 seasonal patio areas on private property with seating for 25 and 18. The expanded space was previously operated as the Dogwood, which closed within the past year. Coming out of COVID, the Brassica team has witnessed the continued demand for restaurant dining, and they've been looking at various ways to expand their operation within the past few years. When this contiguous space became available, and being one that was previously licensed, it seemed like an ideal and natural evolution of their business. Besides, for this expansion, the business operation and hours will remain the same. Happy to answer any questions the board may have.
My only question is, just because I can't picture the 2 patios, patio A and patio B, are they connected or next to each other or adjacent?
They are not. So the patio spaces, which I believe are on the floor plan that was provided, essentially are the same. It's the same. Patio A is the same patio that Brassica Kitchen is currently using at the space, and which was currently licensed by this board. And same for the Dogwood space. So the outdoor patios remain unchanged, but they are 2 separate and distinct areas to the rear of the building on private property.
Okay, thank you, Attorney. I don't have any questions. Commissioner Curran and Commissioner Saxon, do you?
I do not. Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office like to defer to the judgment of this board. We don't have a whole lot of information on this proposal due to personnel changes that our office has sustained, but we understand that it's a longstanding business in the community that has worked well and reached out to neighbors. With that, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam of the Chair, members of the board, Ana Calderon from Council President Flink's office. The councilor would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Yeah, Mr. Reiskind, absolutely. You may go ahead.
My name is Michael Reiskind. I'm a member of the Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Council, live at 425 South Huntington Avenue, and chair of its Public Service Committee. We intend to have a hearing on this issue on September 5th, the day after Labor Day, and we ask that the licensing board defer any decision until after a community process. I understand there hasn't been any at this time, and this is a restaurant with 126 seats. Both the Dogwood and the Brassica are anchor restaurants in the Forest Hills area, but a community process for 126 seat restaurant seems appropriate. Thank you.
Sorry, Danny, may I please remove my testimony? I thought we were on item 24. I just realized it was been together.
Yes, no worries, Anna. I was wondering about that. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on item number 25, Brassica Kitchen?
Would I be able to just address the comment about a deferred vote? I did speak with Mr. Reiskin, and Brassica is happy to join the JPNC meeting on September 5th. That's a board that this restaurant has been in front of many times and has a good relationship with, as well as the entire neighborhood. We were hopeful that this would be treated, at least by this board, similarly to a transfer of license or any other application where the board is looking at a new operation going into a previously licensed space. As I mentioned, this is a restaurant that is a known entity, a known quantity to the neighborhood. There's no increase in hours. This is just a continuation of their existing business. There are some business concerns that we have related to the timing, and we would love to go on parallel tracks with meeting with JPNC, as well as going forward if this board approves to the state, respectfully to Mr. Reiskin's concerns.
Thank you for that, Attorney Baranowski. The board will take all of this under advisement.
Thank you.
Thank you. Calling item number 26, Tanzilla Inc., doing business as Home Market, located at 165 Belgrade Ave in Roslindale. Holder of a retail package store wines and malt beverages license, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Top Tier Enterprise Inc., doing business as Home Market at the same location. Rose Letang, manager, 11 p.m. closing hour. Attorney Thomas Truax. Attorney Truax.
Thank you, Attorney Green. Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Tom Truax of Salem, Massachusetts, appearing on behalf of the proposed licensee, Top Tier Enterprise Inc. Seated next to me is Rose Letang, who is the president of the corporation. She is also the proposed license manager. Rose, along with her daughter, Angel, Louise, Jean, are the principals of the corporation. They will be the ones that will be running this new store, or this existing store, Home Market. Mrs. Letang is a U.S. citizen. She's a resident of Massachusetts. She is familiar with the rules and regulations of this board and the ABCC and the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as they pertain to the sale and service of alcoholic beverages. As for experience, Rose and her daughter have been training at this particular store since May 11th, when the purchase and sale agreement was signed. They will continue to be training at this store. They've been there each once a week since May 11th. They will continue to be there until the ABCC gives their approval. In addition, both Rose and Angel have been signed up with the Massachusetts Package Store Owners Association. They have a BAT seminar program for alcohol training that's scheduled for September 11th. So they will both be, it's not tips training, but we consider a better training, BAT training. So they will have that training under their belt by the time the ABCC approves this. As for the underlying transactions, the typical sale of assets, including the transfer of this Section 15 package store license, there's no financing involved. As for operation, no changes of hours, no changes of anything there, layout or otherwise. General cleanup of the store, but that's about it. In addition, I have communicated with the neighborhood liaison, Diane Bronchick, who indicated to me that there was no need for a neighborhood meeting. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, attorney, and thank you for joining us today. Ms. Lee Tang, I don't have any questions at this moment. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
No questions for me. Thank you.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives? Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you. Calling item number 27, House of Siam Inc. doing business as House of Siam on Tremont, located at 592A to 592 Tremont Street in Roxbury. Holder of a common victualler 7-day wines and malt beverages license has petitioned to transfer the license and the location from the above to CJ and BT Corporation, doing business as Saigon Chicken House, located at 223 Adams Street in Dorchester. Premise consists of, the restaurant has 2 exits, one in the front, one in the back of the building. Front of the restaurant is dine-in with a capacity for 60 people. There are 2 restrooms on the right side of the restaurant. The back of the restaurant is divided into 2 parts. Half is a kitchen area, the other half is a basement for storage with 1 walk-in cooler and 4 freezers with an ice machine. Fong K. Huynh, manager, closing hour 12 a.m. Secondly, has petitioned to change the classification of its license to a wine, small beverages, and liqueurs license pursuant to the authority contained in Chapter 481 of the Acts of 1994. Who's present on behalf of the applicant?
Morning, Secretary Green, Commissioners, Madam Chair, Tom Miller on behalf of the applicant. So the applicant here is before you today to transfer the license from the existing location on Tremont Street to this existing restaurant at 223 Adams Street in Dorchester. I'm joined today by the owner, Jenny Tong, and the proposed manager of record, Feng Huynh. The proposal of this transfer will add this license to the existing restaurant on Adams Street in Fields Corner, the Fields Corner area of Dorchester. As Danny said, we've also applied to change the category to include cordials. Saigon Chicken House has been operating in Fields Corner since 2018. They offer authentic Vietnamese cuisine, including hot pots, soups, free-range chicken options using high-quality ingredients in a casual setting. The existing space is approximately 1,566 square feet, and they have 60 seats. There are no proposed renovations in conjunction with this transfer application, and they are proposing to continue to operate on the hours as they have now from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. On the license. The approval of this transfer will meet a need that they have been seeing from their customers. They've been asked by customers to provide this amenity, and they are looking to do so. It won't change the way they currently operate. This is just an amenity to those people coming in to have dinner with them. They will offer beer, wine, and cordials to complement their food offerings. In addition to those food offerings, they also offer high quality fresh juices and coffee drinks. The cordial edition will allow them to let those customers who want to make that into a cocktail-like item and allow them to do that and complement the food, as I said. Ms. Fung is the proposed manager of record. She's been working in the food and beverage industry for more than 10 years, and she's been with the applicant since they opened. Her experience prior to working with the applicant did involve the sale and service of alcohol. She is a U.S. citizen, a resident of Quincy. She is familiar with the rules and regulations of this board and the ABCC and the laws of the Commonwealth for the sale and service of alcohol. As the board is aware, we are still working with ONS to complete the community process for this application. Because of this, we are requesting that you defer your vote until your next hearing so we can finalize that process. We want to thank you for hearing this application today, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Attorney Miller, is the proposed manager of record with us? I'm not sure I'd see her. make sure that she's present in case the board has any questions.
I apologize. I thought she was on. Fong, if you're on, can you please unmute and say hello? Apologize. I thought she was here. I may have dropped her due to technical issues.
Thank you. We can also take a second call later to see if she appears so that the board can ask any questions they may have. In the meantime, Chairman Joyce, do you have any questions of Attorney Miller regarding this application?
Thank you, Attorney Miller. I don't have any questions.
Yeah, no questions at this time. Thank you.
None for
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you. We will take this under advisement and we'll return to you, Attorney Miller, if she does turn up by the end of this hearing.
Thank you. I'll be here.
Thank you. Calling item number 28, Tawan Shine Inc., doing business as phone number 1 Brighton, located at 1799 Commonwealth Ave in Brighton. Holder of a common victular 7-day wines and malt beverages license, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Faux Zab Inc., doing business as Faux Zab at the same location. Suma Lee, Jai Prasert, manager, closing hour 11 p.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant? Oh, sorry, just one moment. You're on mute. I'm going to ask you to unmute. I do see you. Here we go.
Are you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning. I'm Sumali Chaiwaserd. I'm the manager and the owner for SAP. I try to do the business here. We have experience like 28 years for my for the restaurant, for the food restaurant, and then I hold a liquor license from my another restaurant in Maynard like 5 to 6 years. And I'm do in Maine like 8 years, but now I'm stable in Maine already to buy the for number 1. No, nothing.
Great, thank you very much. Anything further you would like to present to the board?
No.
Thank you. Chairman Joyce, any questions?
Thank you for joining us today. Sumali, just to make sure I have my notes correctly, are you a citizen?
Yes, I am citizen.
And where do you live?
We live in Waltham, Massachusetts.
Okay, and thank you for describing your experience. My final question is, are you familiar with the rules and regulations of our board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth pertaining to the sale and service of alcohol?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Covers all of my questions.
I'm really nervous.
You're doing great. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives? Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Thank you. The board will take this under advisement, and thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, everyone.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Calling item number 29, Lucky Strike Jillian's LLC, doing business as Jillian's Billiards Club, located at 145 Ipswich Street. Holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to AMF Bowling Centers, Inc., doing business as Jillian's Billiards Club at the same location. Ivy Hudson, manager, closing hour 12 a.m. Attorney Trish Farnsworth. Attorney Farnsworth.
Good morning. Thank you, Attorney Green. Good morning, Chairwoman Joyce, Commissioners. Trish Farnsworth with Lawson and Whiteson in Boston. On behalf of the applicant, AMF Bowling Centers, and with me is Ivy Hudson, the proposed manager. So this is a large transaction. Lucky Strike is selling 14 locations across 9 states. 2 of those locations are here in the Commonwealth, this one in Boston and one in Somerville. The applicant is AMF Bowling Centers. They are owned by Bolero, which is a public company. And after this transaction closes, there'll be Bolero owns 343 bowling centers across 35 states. Currently, AMF has 4 licensed locations here in Massachusetts: Somerset, Chicopee, Shrewsbury, and Auburn. So this transfer is just a really straightforward transfer of ownership. There's going to be no change in name, operations, everything remains the same. And Ivy has been with AMF since 2007. She's more than suitable to be the manager, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, attorney. Thank you for joining us. Ivy, are you already an approved manager of record by this board or no?
That I'm unsure of. For
Okay.
Boston, I don't think so.
Okay, are you a citizen?
Yes.
Are you a resident of Massachusetts?
You bet.
Where do you live?
Oxford, Massachusetts.
Okay. Do you have experience in the food and beverage industry?
Yeah, I've been with the company 16 years and worked my way up from the bottom.
And are you familiar with the rules and regulations of this board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth pertaining to the sale and service of alcohol?
Yes, I am.
Will you be on site regularly?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. I don't have any other questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
And no questions from me. Thank you.
None for me either. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives? Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Calling item number 30, 500 Boylston and 222 Berkeley TRS LLC, doing business as Tico, located at 222 Berkeley Street, holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to STK Boston LLC, doing business as STK Steakhouse at the same location. Stacy Perrone, manager, closing hour 2 a.m. Secondly, has petitioned to update the description of premise from in one room with an outdoor cafe on the first floor, kitchen and storage room in the rear. Management agreement approved by the Boston Licensing Board and ABCC between 500 Boylston and 222 Berkeley TRS LLC and Good Essen 222 Berkeley LLC. Capacity ceviche bar 7 stools, main bar 15 stools, table and chairs 175, outside courtyard 56 seated. 2, in one room on first floor with outdoor patio on private property. Kitchen, bathrooms, and storage in rear, interior seating of 140, patio seating of 62 on private property, annual January through December, weather permitting, with a 2 a.m. closing hour. Lastly, has petitioned to pledge the license to 500 Boylston and 222 Berkeley TRS. Attorney Adam Barnoski. Attorney Barnoski.
Thank you, Attorney Green. Madam Chair, members of the board, again, Adam Barnoski, 255 State Street in Boston, on behalf of the one group doing business as STK Boston. With me today is Stacy Perrone, the VP of Restaurant Operations and the proposed manager of record, and Alex Tobolsky, the VP of Legal for the One Group. We are here on a same location license transfer for the operation of a new restaurant to be located at 222 Berkeley Street in Back Bay. We are also requesting a pledge of license from the prior licensee, which operated Tico in the same location. 222 Berkeley is located between Boylston and St. James Street in Back Bay. The licensed premises are located on the first floor of a mid-rise commercial building, which spans the width of the entire city block. The premises consists of approximately 7,000 square feet with dining areas, bar, kitchen, outdoor patio, bathroom, and storage room. Interior seating of 140, patio seating of 62. We are seeking a 2 a.m. closing hour 7 days a week, which is consistent with the prior operator. The patio is located entirely on private property and will be constructed as an all-seasons patio on the southern portion of the premises off of St. James Street. Renderings of this patio space can be found in the application materials. About STK, it is owned and operated by the One Group, a publicly traded lifestyle hospitality company, which also operates the Kona Grill with over 60 locations around the world, including several metropolitan areas across the United States. This location will be operated as STK Boston, a modern steakhouse offering a complete fine dining experience. It is a food-forward operation with historic averages of 75% of revenues derived from food. The company plans to fully renovate the premises and invest heavily into the space. About the manager of record, Stacy Perrone. She has extensive experience in the restaurant industry with over 20 years of management experience, including the events manager at Tribeca Grill and Angelo and Maxi Steakhouse in New York City, then the food and beverage director at Soho Grand Hotel, among other positions. Since 2006, she has worked for the One Group, currently as the VP of Restaurant Operations. Stacy is a United States citizen, familiar with the rules and regulations of the city and ABCC residing in Boston, to oversee development of the restaurant and handle day-to-day operations, hiring, and the opening of the restaurant. The opening is scheduled to occur later this year, tentatively in the late fall, early winter. The company seeks a pledge of the license to 500 Boylston 222 Berkeley TRS, which is in conjunction with security for a loan relative to the acquisition of the license. We are here to answer any questions the board may have. Thank you.
Thank you, attorney. Is Stacy here?
Yes, I'm present. How are you today?
Good, thank you. I wasn't sure if that was you. Thank you for joining us. Your attorney covered the manager of record questions. I just want to ask about the 2 a.m. closing on the patio, attorney. Was there a patio here before?
Yes, although the patio previously was not a covered patio, an enclosed patio.
So this is an enclosed patio.
Yes, yes, and we had there were materials that were provided in the initial application package. Although looking through it yesterday, I recognized that the scan was not the clearest. So we had provided some renderings last night to Maria Farrell, and you can kind of get a sense of what that's going to look like.
Okay.
If the board has a copy of that.
Yes, thank you. I'll take another look at that. I don't have any questions, Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon.
No questions at this time. Thank you.
None from me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives? Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? I do see a raised hand from Conrad Armstrong. Mr. Armstrong, I'm going to ask you to unmute and you may please provide your testimony.
Hi, I'm Conrad Armstrong from 439 Marlborough Street, representing the Neighborhood Association of Back Bay. Even though this is just a new restaurant where one existed, we would like the applicant to go through the community process. They've not had a chance to meet with us. So I would ask that the board defer until the applicant can meet with us. If they can meet with us on September 11th, I can give that back to the board on September 15th.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. The board will take that under advisement. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter?
Good morning, Madam of the Chair, members of the board, Ana Calderon from Council President Flink's office. The councilor would like to go on record in support, but we do ask that they continue to work with the neighborhood association and the abutters of the area on any concerns they may have on the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Attorney Barnowski, were you looking to respond?
Yeah, just briefly, I think that the applicant would be happy to work with any of the neighborhood associations on community process, including the application or the hearing. I believe that Mr. Armstrong said was on the 11th. We did reach out to ONS and spoke with Maggie Van Scoy on this a few weeks ago, who indicated that no ONS community process was required because it was the same location transfer. Again, there are some business and leasing considerations for the board to consider relative to the timing of this application, and it would be very helpful if for the licensee if we were able to run on parallel tracks with licensing as well as community outreach, because it was an existing business and there's no expansion of the closing hour or operation itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Barnowski. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Anything further from the board? Board will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Calling item number 31, 907 Boylston Street LLC, doing business as the Poorhouse, located at 909 Boylston Street, holder of a common victualler 7-day all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Danny's Queer Bar LLC, doing business as Danny's Queer Bar at the same location. Thais Rocha, manager, closing hour 2 a.m. Secondly, has petitioned to amend the description of the premise from rear exit to public alley in one room, kitchen and storage on first floor with a capacity of 153 persons, one room, kitchen and storage area and basement with a capacity of 149 to approximately 3,800 square feet of rentable space located at 907 Boylston Street, also known as 907 to 909 Boylston Street. A rear exit to public alley in one room, kitchen and storage on first floor with a capacity of 153 persons, 2,000 square feet. And I believe this is a second layout of one room, kitchen and storage area in the basement with a capacity of 149, 1,800 square feet. Lastly, has petitioned to pledge the license to 907 Boylston Street LLC. Attorney Adam Barnowski, once again. Attorney Barnowski.
Thank you, Attorney Green. Madam Chair, members of the board, Adam Barnowski on behalf of the licensee. With me today is T.S. Rocha and Tia Marie Michaels, co-owners of the LLC, with Ms. Rocha being the proposed manager of record. We are here on a same location license transfer for the operation of a new restaurant to be located at 907-909 Boylston Street in Back Bay. We are also requesting a pledge of license from the prior licensee, which operated the poorhouse at this location for a number of years. About the licensed premises, it's located between Gloucester and Hereford streets across from the Heinz Convention Center. The licensed premise is located on the first floor and basement of a 4-story building, adjacent to a row of licensed establishments and retailers. The premises consists of 3,800 square feet with dining areas, bar, kitchen, bathroom, and storage, seeking a 2 a.m. closing hour 7 days a week with no change in closing hour from the prior operator. Denny's will be a full-service restaurant and bar. It was created to fill a gap in Boston's nightlife, specifically catered to LGBTQ plus women and non-binary people. TS will provide an overview of the concept momentarily. The company plans aesthetic changes and light renovations to the premises with an opening date in late summer or early fall. Ms. Rocha is the proposed manager of record. She has professional experience as detailed in the application and has co-owned and operated LGBTQ nightlife events here in Boston for over 7 years. She's a Boston resident and will be on site 40 plus hours per week. The company seeks a pledge of license to 907 Boylston Street LLC, which is in conjunction with security for a loan relative to the acquisition of the license. We reached out to ONS and Maggie Van Scoy regarding community process, who indicated that because this is a same location process, no ONS community process would be required relative to this application. And if the chair would allow, I want to provide TS with an opportunity to briefly speak about the proposed concept.
Absolutely.
Go right ahead.
Oh, wait a second. We are unable to hear you right now. I don't know if your audio is not currently working. No, unable to hear you. Let me try muting and unmuting. No, you're completely silent to us. No, we're getting nothing, unfortunately.
So I believe that Ms. Rocha was going to just elaborate on her experience with the LGBTQ nightlife events and how this location is going to be, kind of a new location or transition for that group, and it's going to be just a very welcomed new establishment within the community. Certainly, we could move forward with the hearing, and TS, if you're able to get your electronics working, maybe we can hear from you momentarily.
Sounds good. I would like to move on, but if you do want to log back in, we can hear from you after the next presentation. Otherwise, I have no questions for you, Attorney Barnowski. Commissioner Carr and Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Good morning, Madam Chair. This is Jacob Warner, speaking on behalf of Boston City Councilor Sharon Durkin. The councilor wants to go on record as being in support of this application and wants to go on the record as thrilled that the applicants are attempting to bring a new LGBTQ social space to such an iconic street and location. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Mr. Armstrong, I see your hand raised, so I'm going to ask you to unmute. You may go ahead.
I'm Conrad Armstrong from 439 Marlborough Street, representing the Neighborhood Association Back Bay. TS met with us a couple months ago. We are happy that they are filling this long unused space where restaurant used to exist, and they're filling it with a new unique concept for Back Bay. Neighborhood Association does not oppose the applicant.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this matter under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item 32, High Middle Corp. Doing business as Slate, located at 230 Congress Street. Holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Tierno Nog OK LLC. Doing business as The Chemist at the same location. Kevin Triner, manager, closing hour 2 a.m. Secondly, has petitioned to amend the description of the premise from street level entrance on High Street, second means of egress to common building hallway, kitchen and storage and back, no basement, approximately 3,500 square feet, to restaurant on the ground floor containing approximately 3,500 square feet in 2 rooms with bar and seating for 59 patrons, the kitchen in the rear of the premises, along with storage areas and 3 restrooms. Lastly, has petitioned to pledge the license to NW 230 Congress Street Property Owner LLC. Attorney Tom Miller. Attorney Miller.
I think the answer. Secretary Green, good morning again. Chairwoman Joyce, Commissioners. Tom Miller from McDermott Coulter Miller on behalf of the applicant. I'm joined by Kevin Trainer, the proposed owner and manager of record for the applicant. I can see him. He is here. We can check that box this time. The Chemist is proposing this corporation to corporation transfer at the same location. They are proposing to operate in the former Slate space on Congress Street. This application, as Secretary Green mentioned, also includes a pledge of the license to secure the financing for this project. Kevin has been around the Boston area and in the Boston area restaurant culture for almost 30 years, including owning and operating establishments like the Phoenix Landing in Cambridge and the Merchant on Franklin Street. This application proposes that he take over the approximately 3,500 square foot space that was formerly occupied by Slate, comprise 59 seats, and they are in the process of renovating it within the existing footprint to make it fit the concept. Here, the concept is a relaxed cocktail lounge with full food service. He'll be serving a catered lunch menu similar to the one that they're currently offering at the Merchant, with the addition of tapas and pizza for their dinner menu and the late night menu. They are proposing to serve pizza until 1 a.m., offering food later into the night, something that is lacking in this area of downtown currently. Kevin and the Chemist team feel that this will fill a need in the area, as there are no places that currently offer a good late night meal after midnight. The idea here is to create a destination for those in the downtown area and members of the industry to gather and eat later in the evening. They are proposing to be open for lunch and while maintaining the 2 a.m. closing hour. So this is a full service restaurant throughout all hours of the day. The approval of this transfer will help revitalize this vacant and underutilized space and bring a relaxed cocktail bar with great food offering, great late night food offerings to the area. As I've said, Mr. Trainer is the proposed manager of record. He is a U.S. citizen and a resident of Somerville. He is extensively experienced in the food and beverage industry, including with the sale and service of alcohol. He is familiar with both the rules and regulations of this board and the ABCC and the laws of the Commonwealth regarding the same. We have worked with ONS on this project, and they asked we reach out to the downtown bid. I believe the board received the letter of support from the downtown bid related to this. We want to thank you all for hearing this application today, and we would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Attorney Miller. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Trainer. I don't have any questions at this time. Commissioners Curran or Saxon, do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Good morning, Madam of the Chair, members of the board, Ana Calderon from Council President Flink's office. The councilor would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Calling item number 33, ST Entertainment Group, Inc., doing business as Tunnel, located at 100 Stewart Street. Holder of a general on-premise all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to 100 Stewart Street LLC, doing business as Ubon at the same location. Brian Lesser, manager, closing hour 2 a.m. Secondly, has petitioned to amend the description of premise from on lower level in one room, bar, seating area, restrooms, to in one room on lower level, approximately 3,918 square feet, with bar and lounge seating for approximately 50 patrons, and standing area for approximately 150 patrons, washrooms and storage in rear. Thirdly, requests to add bottle service to be provided to 5 tables in the lounge area. And lastly, has petitioned to pledge the license to Lesser Trust LLC. Attorney Leslie Delaney Hawkins. Attorney Hawkins.
Thank you, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, members of the board. Leslie Delaney Hawkins with the law firm of Prince Lobel. With me today is Brian Lesser, who is the proposed majority owner and manager of record. By way of background, this is a corporation to corporation transfer at the same location with a new doing business as. Mr. Lesser is the existing majority interest holder in the current corporation, and he's bringing on a minority partner and transferring the license to this new entity. There are absolutely no changes to the operation. I do want to clarify, we initially filed, and we greatly appreciate the board's team helping to amend the application with the new doing business as of Ubon. Due to some licensing and trademark issues, we had to revisit that as Metro. So the doing business as will be Metro. That is the only change from the existing operations. Brian Lesser is the current manager of record, will remain the manager of record. There are no changes to the layout, to the hours of operation, or points of sale and service of alcohol. The alteration of premise is simply because the actual description went so far back that it simply stated that it was in one room. So we did need to clean up that description. There's no changes to how the space functions, including the bottle service. This is the bottle service that actually this was one of the first to be approved for bottle service when the city of Boston allowed it. And there will continue to be 5 dedicated servers, 1 for each table, who will handle all of the pouring of drinks. Patrons will at no time be permitted to touch the bottle or pour their own drinks. And should the dedicated server need to leave, the bottle will be removed and safely stored. The pledge is to an affiliated entity. And again, there are no changes to operations. We do respectfully request that if the board approves this, we would like to move forward with obtaining our permits for the new DBA of Metro, just given the backlog with BFD and fire while this goes through the ABCC's process, just so that we can kind of continue operations. We're going to keep on the same staff, same programming. And we've also, well, not before this board, filed an application for the exact same live entertainment. We did reach out to the mayor's office, the council president's office, and the civic associations to inform them of this, and we're told no community outreach would be necessary. And with that, we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is Mr. Lesser here?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. And are you already an approved manager of record by this board?
Yes, I am.
And he's the approved manager of record at this existing location as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't have any questions. Commissioners, do you?
None for me. Thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Good morning, Madam of the Chair, members of the board, Ana Calderon from Council President Flink's office. The councilor would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Thank you. And thank you, Attorney Hawkins, for clarifying the DBA change. As you're aware, that does not require advertising, so we will just make sure we have a revised application before we go any further. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it.
Board will take this matter under advisement.
Thank you.
Calling item number 34, LSF Logan Airport, doing business as Legal Seafoods, located at 1 Harborside Drive, located in East Boston, has applied for an airport all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above space known as E3 through A34 in Terminal E, consisting of approximately 4,610 square feet. The premise consists of a 24-seat bar and a full kitchen. Secondly, the applicant has petitioned to pledge the license to Northern Bank and Trust. Manager Leo Late, closing time 10 p.m. Attorney Trish Farnsworth. Attorney Farnsworth.
Thank you again, Attorney Green. Good morning. Attorney Trish Farnsworth with Lawson and Whiteson in Boston on behalf of LSF Logan Airport. This is an application for a new airport license. With me on this call is Leo Lett, who is the proposed manager, and also Donna Cruz, who's with Legal Seafoods. Legal Seafoods has currently 5 licenses over there at the airport. This is an additional one at a new space in the newly constructed Terminal E. Mr. Lett is already an approved manager on behalf of Legal Seafoods. And the only other item I just wanted to bring to your attention is they do want to be open for breakfast hours over there at the airport, and serve alcohol during those breakfast hours.
Is he approved as a manager of record before this board?
Yes, on one of the other Boston licenses, yes.
And what time would the alcohol start to be served? You're requesting it for breakfast, so what time would that be?
Correct. Leo, do you want to respond to that?
You're currently on mute. Hang on, Leo. I'm asking you to unmute right now.
Yeah, we start serving alcohol at 8 o'clock in the morning at the older licenses right now.
Okay. Thank you for answering that question. Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you. I just want to just quickly for the board, I just want to clarify, are you requesting a 10 a.m. service on Sunday, or what is that you are requesting exactly from the board in terms of early hours?
8 a.m. during the week.
Correct.
And we can't serve earlier than 10 a.m. correct on Sunday under the laws.
With approval from the board.
Right. So that would be what we're requesting, correct?
Great. Thank you. Just wanted to clarify that. Any further questions from the board before we move to testimony? Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives? Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 35, C Street Bistro LLC, doing business as C Street Bistro, located at 330 C Street in South Boston. Has applied for an in-holder all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above. Total square footage of the entire hotel is approximately 46,545 square feet, consisting of 6 floors plus the basement. Ground floor area is approximately 6,160 square feet. Restaurant on the ground floor is 2,200 square feet with seating for 95 and is accessible through one door from inside the hotel. There are a total of 4 entrances and exits for the building. Manager Brian Anderson, closing time 1 a.m. Attorney John Cannell. Attorney Cannell.
Good morning, Attorney Green, Chairwoman Joyce, board members, Attorney John Cannell from the law firm of Upton, Connell, and Dublin. I believe we have here, and I can see him, Brian Anderson, the proposed manager of record, and also the owner of the company that's applying for this new all alcoholic beverage license for a hotel. Very briefly, this is a hotel development on C Street in South Boston, behind the Boston Convention Center. We think there's a good public need for hotel rooms to service the convention center. We want to be that hotel that adds additional rooms for the convention center. We think there's a public need for this application, for this license, as it will serve a developing neighborhood. There's not too much in this neighborhood behind the convention center right now as far as residents and commercial areas. It's mostly industrial. Adds a lot of yards that store heavy equipment. As this neighborhood develops, we would like to be a pioneer in this neighborhood and provide a local service of restaurant on the first floor. That's the public need angle. The proposed manager of record is Brian Anderson, a Dorchester native, a U.S. citizen, a Mass resident. He is familiar with the rules and regulations in Massachusetts relating to the provision of alcoholic beverages, and he has experience in the restaurant industry. The timeline for this hotel is approximately a year before we're open. We haven't started construction yet, so it may be that we apply for a new manager of record down the road. But having said that, the applicant has met extensively with the neighborhood relating to the zoning for the development of a hotel. There may be an issue with regard to an additional meeting between the applicant and the St. Vincent's Association with regard to this liquor license application. But we think for this part of South Boston that is still developing, there's a great public need for this, and it will indeed serve the convention center.
Thank you, Attorney Cannell. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Anderson. So anticipated opening date isn't for about another year. And I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. There'll be one restaurant?
There'll be a restaurant on the first floor, and the license will cover obviously the 6 floors of the hotel.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
No questions for me. Thank you.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office like to defer to the judgment of this board. We don't have a lot of information on this proposal regarding a specific applicant, but we do understand that this address was a BBDA project that went through a public process over the course of 2023, where it was discussed that there would be a restaurant usage on the ground floor. I don't have much more information beyond that. We'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam of the Chair, members of the board, Ana Calderon from Council President Flink's office. The councilor would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Thank you. And are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? The board will take this matter under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And calling item number 36, East Boston BBQ LLC, doing business as the Smoke Shop BBQ, located at 35 to 45 Lewis Street in East Boston, has applied for a common victualler 7-day wines and malt beverages license with liqueurs to be exercised on the above 4,034 square feet, total on ground floor in 2 rooms, seating for 102, including 1 main dining room and 1 bar room with bar seating, bar dining seating, and bar rail, kitchen, storage, and offices located in the rear, year-round outdoor patio, weather permitting, on private property, seating for 116, patio closing hour of, this is 1 p.m. I believe that probably means 1 a.m. Manager Amy Magner, closing time 1 a.m. Attorney Leslie Delaney Hawkins. Attorney Hawkins.
Thank you again, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Leslie Delaney Hawkins on behalf of the applicant. With me is Andy Husbands, the owner and operator, as well as Amy Magner, who's the proposed manager of record. By way of background, the board has heard the separate all alcoholic beverages application for this proposal at the Smoke Shop East Boston several times. We are filing this respectfully, seeking that should there be a wine, malt, and cordials license that this applicant qualifies for at this location, that it be considered. There are no changes to the prior operations. I do want to clarify it is a 1 a.m. closing indoors, 11 p.m. close on the patio, which is what we committed to with the neighborhood association when we met with them previously. Again, no changes. Amy Magner has been approved several times by this board. She's a U.S. citizen, has extensive experience in the food and beverage industry, and is familiar with the rules and regulations of the board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth as they pertain to the sale and service of alcohol. Just by way of public need, I know that this has been established on the record, in addition to East Boston being a rapidly growing community, one in which there is not a concept similar to this. Since opening, we're fortunate enough that the board granted us a food-only CV license. Since opening, Andy and his team have had significant demand in inquiries from patrons regarding whether or not alcoholic beverages would be in the cards. So we do believe there is a demand at this location. Again, no changes to what has previously been heard by this board and by the community, and we are happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is Ms. Magner here? I see a square, but I don't see her camera on. Manager,
Let me check.
Manager Becker.
I see her on.
I'm checking. She says she's on, so let me check.
we've had some technical difficulties today, so I can understand if she's having a hard time.
Give me 1 second here. She says she's on, so.
Hang on, let me see if I can ask her to start video. Maybe that will prompt something. Oh, there we go. We can see her. Thank you, Ms. Magner.
Okay.
Muted, Amy.
I just wanted to make sure she was on. Your attorney did explain she's already an approved manager of record by this board. I just want to make sure it's correct. Is that correct, Attorney Delaney Hawkins?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
I don't have any questions. Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office likes to defer to the judgment of this board. As you heard from the applicant's representation, they previously went through a productive community process. We're unaware of any concerns at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. And are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we'll return finally to Attorney Miller. Just wanted to ask if the proposed manager of record on item number 27 has been able to join us.
Miss Nguyen is the iPhone currently pointed at the ceiling. So hopefully she can hear us and hop on. She was on a minute ago. She's prepping for the day, so she is.
I did see that. Yep, I did see it. Oh, I see her. It's on my screen. It's the third camera.
Yes.
Phone's on mute. Just wanted to be able to. What number was this again?
This was number 27. This is the House of Siam, transferred to Saigon Chicken House at 223 Adams Street in Dorchester. And this is proposed manager of record. We do see you. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, and I think your attorney did cover the manager of record questions. We just wanted to make sure you're with us here today. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy preparing for your day. I don't have any other questions for you at this time. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
I do not. Thank you.
None for me, thank you.
Great. Thank you again, and thank you for being with us. And just want to check to make sure one last time for item 27, if there were any additional individuals who wanted to provide testimony on this item now that we have Ms. Nguyen with us.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. As you heard from the applicant's representation, they're actively engaging with our liaison right now about going through the community process. So we will be in touch with the board when that community process is completed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you once again, Ms. Nguyen, for joining us this morning. And those are all of the items on this morning's agenda. Thank you, everybody, for being with us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.